VLR.
Welcome to the Saturday Night Cigar Lounge.
It's warm and humid in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, especially in my apartment. A part of that is because my air conditioning died. But this is Saturday Night Cigar Lounge. I am your host, Taylor, which suggests that we're not going to let a busted air condition keep me down. Or something like that. Thank you for listening to Saturday Night Cigar Lounge here on Vigilant Liberty Radio. My guest tonight is an old friend. He's one of the very few libertarians in New Jersey, I guess. Or are you technically a libertarian in name only, JD?
I am a lino. I am 100% a lino. I've been hounded actually by the vice president of the of the New Jersey Libertarian Party to join up and become a libertarian, but no, not for me. But yeah, I'm pretty much a lino here in New Jersey.
He's also the only cool Jets fan I know.
Hey now. That's not nice. Lenny Kravitz is a Jets fan, and he's pretty cool.
Okay, Kravitz. Okay, so I know two cool Jets fans. I'm just saying...
Oh, George R.R. Martin is also a Jets fan.
George R.R. Martin hasn't written a book in years, so I don't care what George R.R. Martin thinks.
I feel the same way about his opinions on the Jets, so...
But he's also, NJ Libertarian is also one of the chief writers and hosts over at Free Radical Network. So very, very happy to have him here. Because, you know something? He's a pretty cool dude. I gotta ask something. Because
sure.
On your Facebook and possibly on your Twitter too, you have a picture of yourself, and is that Rex Ryan?
That is, in fact, the Rex Ryan,
and you
head coach of the New York Football Jets. What?
I was about to say, you didn't punch him in the face?
Why would I punch him in the face? The guy is awesome. Do you know what the roster looked like last year? Do you understand how devoid of any real talent we had on offense? And we finished 8-8. We beat the Patriots and the Saints. Are you kidding me?
I'm having fun. I'm a Cowboys fan.
Oh, well, no, then you aren't having fun.
Yeah. The Cowboys have a great owner. They have a terrible general manager.
I have no comment. I have no comment on that situation. I try to keep hosts as happy as possible.
No, but okay. So how did this go down? This was at a birthday party too, wasn't it?
I was out with my family at a restaurant that I love locally, and it just so happens that out of the blue that same night, Rex Ryan was there. I was wearing my Jets jacket, and you know, at the end of the night, at the end of the meal, dessert came, and you know, the staff came in and did the whole happy birthday thing, and Rex Ryan was there, saw it, watched it, saw that I had a Jets jacket on, and you know, offered to buy me a drink. I don't drink, so instead of that, he took a picture with me. It was really cool.
Well,
He's
see,
a good
there you
dude.
go.
Yeah. And just last week, I actually at that same restaurant last Friday. Not this past Friday, but the Friday before that. I was sitting across from him and Chris Christie enjoying tacos at the same restaurant. It was very, very cool.
And you didn't hit Christy?
No. Christie is the best. I'm sorry. You have to understand, I don't live in Texas. I don't have the convenience that you guys have of being able to, strike the ground and out pops Ted Cruz. That's not how it works here. So Chris Christie, for all of his faults, is about as good as we're going to get. So I'm fine with Chris Christie. And there we go, further proving that I'm a huge lino. But no, I'm cool with Chris. I'm happy that he's the governor. Provided that he had nothing to do with Bridgegate, in which case we'll see what happens there. But I definitely prefer him over John Corzine, over Barbara Buono. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fishy in the chat room just asked, "What's with the hitting, Taylor?" It's the first thing that popped into my head. I was a thought, or not a thought, just something that happened. I was at a Stars game, a Dallas Stars game once, and I was actually in a suite. And so I go into one of the bathrooms there. And I'm just like barely paying attention. And I turn and look, and there's Tom Hicks. Now, Tom Hicks is also known around here as the former owner who shall not be named. He's basically, he drove both the Dallas Stars and the Texas Rangers into bankruptcy because he didn't want to pay his bills. So that happened. And I'm standing next to him in the bathroom, and I went back to and I just kind of nodded to him, and we made a comment about something. I don't remember what it was, and I went back to my suite, and I made a comment to someone else. I was like, "Hey, I just saw Hicks in the bathroom," and the person who I was with was like, "Well, you didn't have an accident in the bathroom and accidentally, have something happen."
You didn't have an accident in the bathroom? The accident in the bathroom? That seems like a poor choice of words right there.
Well, okay. Because we have ladies here, I'm trying to be nice, and I'm trying not to say what, the guy actually said.
That you didn't accidentally punch the guy in the face? Is that what you were...
No. It was crossing streams.
Oh, my goodness.
And I did not do that because I am I'm not that kind of a person.
Yes, you try not to piss him off.
Yes. Plus, the other reason why I was bringing up, the hitting was jerseys from Jersey, and
what's that supposed to mean? Are you trying to say that we're violent here?
You guys know how to whack people.
There's a difference between hitting someone and whacking someone. There are very key differences here.
Okay. Got it.
Yes.
I was
and now everybody in the chat is like, what is this sports talk that's going on? What? Winter Soldier is a sports movie?
No, we're getting to Winter Soldier. Calm down, folks. I'm just still in a really good mood because the Dallas Stars are in the playoffs. The Dallas Stars are in the playoffs for the first time in 6 years, and I am thrilled. I was at the game last night. My voice is kind of here. Not really. But anyway, we all know that the stuff I like
Congratulations,
Thank
by the
you.
way, what is that? That's a ping pong team that made it to the playoffs. I'm sorry, I don't pay attention to sports when it's not football or baseball. Other than that, it's like Was it curling
I
group?
I was trying to figure out a way to mute you and then say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we just lost NJ." But just kidding. As your Skype ID says, haters gonna hate.
Wait.
Let's get to what I actually wanted you here to discuss, which was,
hey, I could stay here and continue to talk hockey. I mean, that's fine. I know you would appreciate my hockey commentary.
yes. Well, no, because see, here's the other thing is that I did call you here because I wanted you to discuss Winter Soldier, which is really a fantastic movie. We're talking Captain America 2. Here's the thing. We are going to try to avoid spoilers as much as possible. As much as we can. Because I know that there are some people out there who haven't seen it yet.
So I can't tell people that the Winter Soldier is actually Jason Todd?
Exactly.
Darn it.
You can't tell them that it's Jason Todd, and you can't tell them that it ends when Superman shows up and punches out Captain America.
Oh, man. I didn't know, Taylor. I didn't know going into this that there would be so many restrictions on this conversation.
Oh, and of course, Wolverine has a cameo in it.
Yes.
But anyway, let's get to it. What'd you think? You saw it. What'd you think?
Dude, I was blown away. I thought it was an awesome movie. Not just as a superhero movie either. It was what I wanted from what was Tom Clancy Ghost Cell whatever Born Identity 7. That movie that just came out in like January that was pretty much horrible and took all of the good stuff that Tom Clancy wrote for that character. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the name.
Oh, the Jack Ryan Shadow.
The Jack Ryan character. Basically took all of the good stuff about the Jack Ryan character, threw it out the window, and made a terrible film. It was basically the Jack Ryan movie that I wanted to see, except it had Captain America instead of Jack Ryan. It was really good.
From a political standpoint, what did you like what you saw there?
Well, yeah, I think that it's subtle, and we say that there's really no setup though. We haven't really set that up. What the politics of this film are, it's just the directors were quoted when they made this film, when they started making this film, that they were amazed that a Democratic president would have a kill list and would meet up with his advisors and look at the list and decide who it is that they needed to kill. Having that is something that was very central to the development of the plot, and that's essentially what this movie is about. I mean, you have the big scary thing that's threatening the world. I think that's safe to spoil, is that there's this system that tracks people through their phones, through their Facebook, through their social media, through everything, through their permanent records through school, through all of that stuff. Everything that you might have done, compiles all of that information and decides if you are a terrorist. That is the scary thing. It compiles all of that stuff, and it may or may not fall into the wrong hands, may or may not be misused. But the fact is that this thing is real, and there are some real questions that Captain America has about this program when it gets introduced, when it's revealed to him by Samuel L. Jackson, who is just impeccable. I mean, obviously the ultimate universe Nick Fury is based on Samuel Jackson, but he plays it with such verve. He's just excellent at it.
It looks like he's having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't you have fun? But no, and Captain America, with his values, knowing what it's like to be up against an oppressive regime, we'll say, was not happy about the program at all before it turns on everyone. Before things get really bad. So, yes, there are some strong themes of thinking about what it is that government has access to, what it is that how you're being tracked, and what that entails, and what could bring it to the worst case scenario and what happens. So yes, I was very impressed with the politics of this film. Yeah,
one of the things that I thought was really good. I mean, the Russos, Anthony and Joe Russo, who directed the film, they said. That Marvel said to them, "Hey, we want you to do a political thriller." They said this to Mother Jones, and their comment was, "Okay, yeah, we'll do it." And then they proceeded to do it on Obama's kill list. And I said this on in a column on Real Raw, which is going to go up at some point once Fishy gets back to me on how it looked. Fishy, that's a hint. Is that it's interesting to really see that the topic of national security is really and the national security state is coming up a lot more often, and it's not, and you're not beating people over the face with it. No, not only are you not beating people over the face with it, but people are actually interested. People are this is something that is legitimately scary to a lot of people, and it's not just freaks and geeks like us on the conservative right. It is people who are in young people in college, people who are not necessarily politically active, apolitical types, the independents, the people who just cringe at the thought of people going through their records, through their social media. It is a topic that is not confined to the right, and that's a huge deal. It is really a mainstream concern. Yeah, and I think it is. I remember. Now let's be honest. A lot of this started after September 11th. A lot of the questioning, when the Patriot Act was passed, a lot of it, people started really raising concerns about it because they were worried about the Patriot Act being abused, and they were worried, that the Patriot Act was unconstitutional. Which I'm still just, talking about the movie we're talking about, Captain America. The fact that this disgusting piece of legislation they were able to sneak it in under the name the Patriot Act is still just absolutely salt in the wound. It is and I remember being in college and kind of being of the mind of, okay, we have to do something, but still kind of sitting there going, I'm not sure this is the right move. And of course now it's just like, yeah, it's definitely not the right. It's definitely not the right move, and it wasn't the right move from the very beginning. It's funny what happens when people get afraid, and that was kind of that was something that people that actually did get discussed in Winter Soldier, because they're sitting there going, okay, ever since New York, we have to be. And when I say New York, I mean the attack that happened in New York on during the Avengers movie. Right. The alien attack, not the terrorist attack. The Skrull attack. Oh, yes. Wait, we can't call them Skrulls because Fox owns the rights to Fantastic Four. Oh, boo. Boo.
That's horrible. I thought it was going to be because of the X-Men situation, which is going to be very interesting because I heard that in there's going to be two different sets of Quicksilvers and Scarlet Witches, which is going to confuse everyone.
Well, they really should have. They really should have just made a deal, but sometimes when money gets into it.
When money gets into it, they made like $6 billion with the Avengers film. So I don't see money really being a problem there, an obstacle in the situation. But I digress.
No, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. But nobody, nobody listens. Nobody listens to me on that.
I listen to you there, Taylor. I listen.
Thank you.
It's okay. We'll get through this together.
But I think that it's. I like the fact that they had this discussion, that they actually made this comment come up about. Hey, we have to do something, and that's why we're passing this, or that's why we're doing this. And the best part that I loved was a quote in the film, actually from Nick Fury to Cap. You see the world as you want it to be. I see it how it is.
Yes, and that is a Saul Alinsky quote, I believe.
It's
a paraphrase. To me, I believe that is a paraphrase of Saul Alinsky.
Let's see. There's one way.
Fishy is in the chat, so she can let us know. She's the resident Saul Alinsky expert. So once she gets around to it, we'll have confirmation. The chat, no.
Yeah. But that is really a striking statement. And I mean, isn't from a libertarian standpoint, haven't you been? Have you ever been accused of chasing after windmills and not seeing the world for as it is?
Yeah, as a conservative, as a libertarian, as a person. As a pro-life person, there's just it's a classic little bit of I personally think it's not legitimate. I think it's a fallacy to bring it up and say that, but it's just it's something that constantly gets thrown at you in any argument. Whenever you take the opposite side of things, if the opponent is desperate, a lot of the time they'll go for this isn't reality. You aren't thinking things through like they actually are.
I've actually, something. I've had social conservatives make that comment to me when we've disagreed on how some policy should be done.
Where
I'm sitting there going, okay, wait a second, we have a constitution and we need to follow the constitution, and other folks are like, no, we need to do it this way.
Right, and I've had the exact opposite occur, where you have libertarians that'll get up on you and say, oh well, there's no need for any government ever because it's constantly forced and it's the worst, and you're an idiot and a communist if you believe otherwise. And in this particular example, that was Adam Kokesh at CPAC. There's video evidence of that out there, so start Googling, guys. Start Googling.
Okay. But I think it's an interesting discussion to have. And you know, is there anything wrong with actually sitting there and saying, hey, you know, this is how we'd like it to be? I mean, certainly one of the things that actually the president said this week in a speech in Austin, Texas, was LBJ not only saw the world how he wanted it to be, and then decided to go and do something about it. So he had the government change culture. Of course,
yeah, that sounds like a great plan. That sounds like that marvelous thing. Let's change. Let's use the force of government to do something there. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that, you know, I think a lot of people, at least how I've seen is that a lot of people, and we're deviating from the discussion about Captain America,
right.
But I think a lot of people have kind of, you know, that's what they see it as.
Yes, that's okay. What you think the government is there for. The government is there to protect you and to keep you in this little, you know, safe bubble. And that, you know, as long as the government's there, then you don't have to worry. That it's all safe. It's all fine. Everything's good. But then two idiots, you know, just horrible, monstrous people blow up a marathon in Boston. What did the NSA do? How did the NSA prevent that?
You mean they didn't? What?
Hey, it's mind-boggling to me.
And of course, what I love is that now
what value are we actually getting out of this program? Yeah. Is what I want to know, and we don't know that. Yeah. We don't know what value we get told things, and then it turns out that that's not accurate. You know, and we're going to trust people like Clapper, who have repeatedly lied to us that they're telling the truth about how many attacks it stopped or what. No, it is a farce, and that's what Captain America basically said. This is ridiculous. You're you know, exchanging, you know, liberty for safety, and that safety is false safety.
Yeah,
and that was the point of the movie. The point of the movie was that these extreme measures are false safety. It's false safety.
And what's really funny was the villain in the film, without giving away anything, the villain in the film was like, we will actually give people freedom because they'll have total security. And of course, it's security at the end of a gun. Of course.
The security to, you know, wake up when we want you to wake up, do what we want you to do, you know, work in the rice paddies so that we can eat. And you know, you'll be safe. You're not gonna. You're probably
say
hello
gonna
be
to
safe.
Big Brother. Yeah.
You know, it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have fun. You know, mandated dance nights on Tuesdays, where you will dance or you will die.
The 2 minutes of rage. Don't forget that.
Sounds like a good plan, but we would really appreciate it that if you refrain from saying anything against the government or anybody in the government or any of that stuff, even if you just disagree with the policies, because that might lead to dissent. And if you are causing dissent, possibly, then you might be a terrorist. And if you might be a terrorist, then that means it's probably better off if we just kill you now.
Yeah.
That's the premise. That's basically the premise of the film.
Yeah. And on that note, we are going to take a really quick break and be right back. This is Saturday Night Cigar Lounge here on Vigilant Liberty Radio. We'll be right back, folks.
This is the Pint-Sized Pundit, and I am here to tell you that anything Taylor says on Saturday Night Cigar Lounge is his opinion and his opinion only. He does not speak for his employer, his employer's employer, or anyone else. He especially doesn't speak for Liz unless she says so.
We want to welcome Michael Moore to Occupy Wall Street. I'm so impressed by what I'm seeing here.
How much of people's income do you, Michael Moore, want the government to confiscate?
Probably twice what we're paying right now.
It's not envy, it's war.
Where's the rage? Where's the uprising?
Storm the doors of the New York Stock Exchange.
It is a class war.
If the wealthy paid their fair share. For a documentary filmmaker, I do really well. I'm very blessed.
And the rich thought poverty was bad.
I do well.
They get rid of it.
What pure? There's nothing pure about capitalism.
And they know what's coming on Wall Street.
We're seeing the end of capitalism. And I say good riddance.
He is one of my favorite capitalists. Yeah, I want to give him a hug.
Hi, this is Matt Lewis from the Daily Caller, and you are listening to Vigilant Liberty Radio.
I love Amon Amarth. Amon Amarth. That is the band behind the sound that the bumper that Matt Lewis recorded for us here on Vigilant Liberty Radio. This is Saturday Night Cigar Lounge. I'm your host, Taylor. NJ Libertarian JD is here. Thanks for being here.
Yo. Thank you.
All right. I just to kind of get this to kind of get this out of the way. I don't understand why more people can't like Viking metal.
That is one of today's great questions.
I'm serious because you have bands. It used to be that bands would tell stories in their songs. They would tell stories, and and that was some of the stuff that was that was done. And these guys, the Swedish Viking metal folk, they're telling stories. Now, not everyone is probably going to be in favor of them talking about people going and taking out the Irish and doing things for Thor and Odin, and we're okay because
that's a different movie. That's a different movie that came out in the fall, I think.
Different Thor.
Yeah.
Different Thor. But I mean, come on. There was a Titan in the chat room, like Michael Jackson. Yeah. But I have not checked out the pirate metal band that I was told to check out.
Yes, the great pirate metal subgenre there. That's a good one.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
I'm even a metal fan, and like I don't mind Amon Amarth, but I think that you're fooling yourself if you think that this is going to be something that most people listen to. That's about as big a pipe dream as wishing that everyone had a copy of the Watchmen graphic novel on their coffee table. It's not happening.
Trade paperback, sir.
trade paperback. I'm sorry. It's rude of me. I'm not as big a comic book aficionado.
No. I'm just no. I know comic book people who call it graphic novels, and I just cringe at that title. Graphic novel. All right. So we talked about we've talked about
themes is basically all we've talked about. Just the themes. Just the theme.
Yeah, the theme. We've talked about the theme. You know, I remember when Chris Evans was cast as Captain America. I was like, really? The guy who played Johnny Storm? The guy who was in The Losers, who played kind of the goofy character in The Losers, who had a funny scene where he was singing "Don't Stop Believing" while dressed up as a courier. That's the guy you're gonna have as Captain America? And damn it, he's done a good job.
He has. Chris Evans has been, he's owned that role. He's done a really great job. Even the first one, honestly, the first one I went to go see, it wasn't my favorite film in the superhero oeuvre, but I thought it was good. I thought he was solid.
Yeah, I think they did a good job.
Yeah, and it's continued. He's only grown in in the capacity of that character. Avengers was really solid, and he, I think, turned in his best performance as a superhero. In any of the films. In Winter Soldier, he knew what Cap was thinking, and he was a great voice. He did it. He was polite and had all of those 1940s things that he needed to reinforce all of those tropes, and on your left. He was a good. He did a good job.
He's got the man out of time thing done.
Yeah,
that.
Absolutely.
And I think do you think one of the things that really kind of helps him is that he's not doing a ton of other movies because he doesn't want to?
Yeah, I actually read that once he's done with his Marvel deal, 6-movie contract. That he's retiring, that he's just going back to he's going to direct and live his life and do maybe a personal film here and there, something that he wants to do himself. So I respect that, and I think that's a good way to do it. And I've really been, I was super disappointed. I wasn't a big Fantastic Four fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I knew who they were. I liked the characters. The movies were just awful. They were absolutely atrocious. And he was a one-note character in that in both of those two films. I didn't even actually go in the theaters to see Fantastic Four 2. But I don't think anybody went to the theaters to see Fantastic Four 2.
I haven't even seen the first one. I'm not a Fantastic Four fan. I've never liked the characters.
Right, but he was one note in that, but he definitely grew as an actor in the time between those movies. I think that might have had something to do with the writing a lot in the first two Fantastic Four films. He knew what he didn't want to do again. He knew the kind of character they wanted to play, and I think that he did a good job, and I think that Marvel has done an amazing job at bringing their characters to the screen. Now that they have control over the franchises that they have control over.
They've had some misses. I mean, the Hulk films, I know that a lot of people are still disappointed with that.
I loved the Edward Norton Hulk film. I thought Ed was the right guy to play the character. I thought it worked perfectly, but I know that I'm not in the majority on that film.
Again, another film I haven't seen because I didn't want to.
Come on,
What?
Come on. Jeez, dude.
Never really a Hulk
Netflix
fan.
it. Netflix it. Come on. How could you not be a fan of the Hulk?
I'm just not.
I'm sure Titan is in the chat talking about, bleach blonde dude living in Florida right now with obscene muscles who divorced his wife and has just lived a horror show of a life for the past, I don't know, 10 years. He has no idea what the Hulk is. Oh,
What do you mean, brother?
It's the Hulkamaniac.
He lives in Florida, dude.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. By the way, R.I.P. Ultimate Warrior.
Yes.
Poor guy. But yeah, aside from Cap, I mean, everybody else in this film was excellent.
Yeah. Boy, jeez. Anthony Mackie as Falcon.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
He wasn't the annoying sidekick. He wasn't the, we're only going to show. He basically wasn't Hawkeye from the Avengers. He was actually a legitimate character. He had lines. He did stuff, and he made an impact. He was his arc was good.
Yeah, and I liked how they introduced him too.
Yes,
which just makes sense.
Yeah, and that's not really a spoiler either. That's how the film opens up. It's Captain America doing laps in DC, and there's a guy also running laps, and that's what On Your Left was. Captain America lapping him every 2 minutes or so. And that's how they met up, and the guy is just, I mean, Sam Wilson, Falcon. His story is really good. He's a veteran. We won't get into exactly what he was doing over there.
Yeah.
Because that might be a spoiler alert. That's one of the cooler moments when you get to see his superhero transformation,
which we've seen in the trailers. When you get to you
that's
find out how he got it.
Right, but the guy Anthony Mackie just rocked it out. It was a subtle performance. It was, it was great.
It actually made me like the Falcon character.
Yeah,
and to understand the Falcon, because I didn't get into really reading Captain America until I was really until the, and I hate to say it, until the Jeff Loeb, Rob Liefeld run happened. And then I got and then I kind of, because I was like, oh hey, this is kind of an interesting concept. And then but I really got into it when Ed Brubaker started writing Cap in 2004, 2005, and that's partially what this book, what this movie is based on. It's based on the Winter Soldier arc.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a great line from it, and there's a great scene in it, and I'm not going to give away anything because it's too much.
You're totally going to give away something.
I'm not.
But here's the thing. I don't think that it's going to give away too much at all, because it's probably buried in the film. There's a difference.
There's just a scene and a line in it.
Yeah.
That's straight from the comic book story. That it's just like, oh, that's awesome. I got chills when that happened.
Yeah, it did justice to all of these characters, and one of the characters I really need to say was much improved. I mean, we have to say it. Black Widow was,
oh gosh, oh yeah,
was just awful in the Avengers. That was just lame. And
see, I enjoyed the Avengers.
It was Scarlett
so
Johansson. It was basically
what she was like. I forget her role in it. I was just like, I was like,
yeah.
The movie was so good. I didn't hate it. Okay.
Right. She was there, but what was she doing? Same thing with Hawkeye. It was there. Okay, so then he's the guy that they turn. Oh, okay. No one cares. Yeah. It was. Does he have power? No, he doesn't have powers. Oh, okay. He's just a guy. Okay.
Well, Batman's technically just a guy, but look at that.
Well, Batman wasn't taken over by a Norse god.
True.
So
true.
Also, what is Batman's record?
Anyway.
What is Batman's record against gods? 1-0?
Huh?
1-0? Oh.
Yeah, 1-0.
Oh yeah. Oh. That's a pretty impressive record.
Yeah.
Batman 1, Darkseid nothing.
0. And in case you're wondering,
go off
we're
on a
talking
tangent.
about Final Crisis by Grant Morrison.
Yes.
Which was an experimental, which I give him credit for trying to do it. Wasn't as good as I think a lot of people were hoping.
No. But hey, whenever Batman pulls something off that Superman has trouble doing, I'm happy.
But hey, let's get back to the but
yes.
Black we're all over the place. But yes. Black Widow, Scarlet, when they introduced her in Iron Man 2, she had a great introduction.
Yes.
She had the right part in it.
Clearly defined role.
Yeah, clearly defined role. And here the exact same thing. The exact same thing, which I thought was, when you define the roles for characters, it works out perfectly. My only little nitpick, it's a nitpick, and it's the comic book purist in me.
Oh God!
Huh?
Oh God!
Yeah. I wish that, but they didn't have time to do it, and it would have been too confusing. To go, hey, Black Widow and Winter Soldier have an actual history. In the comic books, they actually were a couple. But then you would have had to have had them go, okay, how do you explain how that and there's just no way to do that.
There's a reason why it's called the Marvel Film Universe.
Yes.
Film Universe being the key phrase there.
I'm nitpicking, and I admit that I'm nitpicking.
Yes, but she was very good. She was a serious character. That was the thing. It was much. She was snarky, but the character wasn't just the snark. That was, I think, what she suffered from in Avengers. She was like used as that kind of, we'll just add her in there to make that snide comment. She actually did stuff in this movie. She was, she had, again, going back to the story arcs, the relationship between her and Captain America, and there's anything going on there, but they go from being
two sides of the same coin. Is what you see.
Absolutely. She's definitely more aggressive than Captain America, and he eventually shocks her, surprises her a little bit. I actually saw on a different. He steals a car. Captain America steals a car in this movie, and apparently that was a throwback to the early '90s Captain America movie that apparently happened. I don't remember it being a thing.
They made the Red Skull Italian.
What?
He was an Italian. He was a soldier for Italy, not for Nazi Germany. That's all you have to know.
Anyway, Scarlett Johansson did a good job, and the character was actually well written for a change. That was good.
Yeah.
I really want to talk about Robert Redford.
Okay, talk about Robert Redford. He didn't take away from. I know people have criticized him. I didn't think he took away from the film.
No, I'm actually on the record as being a hater. I am not a fan of Robert Redford. I don't like him in 90% of the stuff that he's in. From Hot Rock to 3 Days of the Condor. Like I even the good stuff that he's in, I don't like.
You're not a fan of The Natural?
I might be a fan of The Natural if I was able to stay awake a half hour into it.
And that's all that's all the time we have for this week's episode. Thanks everyone for being here.
No, I'm not a fan of Robert Redford, but he did really well. His role as a senator. It's not clearly defined what party he was a senator for, which is something that I like. It was very. I'm sorry.
You're talking Gary Shandling?
No, I thought Robert Redford was also a senator.
No, Robert Redford was a high up SHIELD operative.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that he was that was a function of his duties as a senator. I think it was. Well, his job, whatever it was, as some high level liaison type guy, he did a very good job portraying that, being the angry best friend, angry good friend, and
he did a good
job. As things developed, he was a very good character, very interesting, very well played.
A little bit of a surprising to see that.
Yeah.
That he did that.
I don't know that's so surprising because I believe that there's another film that he was in where he played a Republican or conservative politician. I won't get into it, but suffice it to say, I don't think that this is out of character for Robert Redford. I think that he has played similar types.
Okay. Who are we? Okay. The introduction of Agent 13. What'd you think about that?
Oh, that was fun.
I wish she had done more because I thought they had her as too much of an administrator than a.
Right. People don't know.
Exactly. And I think that was. Yeah, and I think that was the good part about it it's something that I would have preferred, but honestly I sat there and I was like, that's a good thing that they didn't do that.
Right. And man, like the exact opposite of my opinion with Robert Redford when it comes to Emily Van Camp. I think she's pretty much great in everything she's in. Revenge she's excellent in that.
A show I haven't seen.
She's a very good actress, and it was it was again a brief role, but that's a great thing about this film is that it doesn't give too much time to the the cameos. It doesn't give too much. It doesn't like shove it in your face that this is what you have to. You need to see all of this. It doesn't take 10 minutes. She doesn't have 10 minutes of screen time during the entire thing.
Yeah.
So it's not taking away from the plot as a whole. So they did a really good job of keeping it subtle, keeping it brief.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that that they really did a. I thought they did a good job. Me saying that I would have preferred that's the person who knows these
characters. Yes.
Which makes which again but see, I'm not the person that they're going for.
No, and that's what's so exciting about this.
Yes.
Because it brings going back to the first half of the show, it brings this message of, oh my God, the government has all of our records, and they do right now for real. It brings that nagging thought at the back of your head to the front of your head. It brings that you are thinking about that during the entire film. It is something that is not subtle. You are being tracked. Imagine if somebody said that 6 years ago, 7 years ago. I think people would call you nuts.
Yeah.
The people are tracking you via your cell phone. You
Actually,
are clearly.
Some of them may not have, because they would have sat. Well, okay, wait, 6-7 years
The
ago.
majority,
okay, you're right,
the majority of people out there would say this person is a nut. They tinfoil is coming out.
Yeah.
This person is clearly insane if they think that the government is capable of tracking us via our cell phones or the internet.
Yeah.
That is known. We understand that now. I mean, Edward Snowden, which the director said was too late. The thing was already being filmed, was already mostly done by the time that the Snowden revelations came out. So they didn't get a chance to play with that too much.
But they did play with WikiLeaks.
Yes, they did. So it's a really interesting trend, I think. And this is something that I mentioned before we went live. It's something that's really incredible to me. Just this year, you have Catching Fire, the second movie in the Hunger Games trilogy, which is again talking about oppressive government and government with eyes and ears everywhere, surveillance, and that's aimed
despite
what
David Axelrod says.
Of course. Well, I'm definitely. I think that the people who are going to these movies know who David Axelrod is. Number one, and two, would definitely trust David Axelrod on his opinions. You have a movie like Catching Fire. You have a movie like The Hunger Games 2 years ago. Whatever. This past week, opening up at the same time as Captain America, was Divergent, which is another film based on a book series that is talking about an oppressive government. It's beginning to look like liberty is a popular plot. That freedom and oppressive governments and what a threat they are is something that is entering into the. I know Fishy hates this, but zeitgeist. It appears as though that is where we are headed as a culture.
One of the things I do, because Fishy brought up a good point, and I actually agree with her on this. She made a comment about they would have said blame Bush in discussing about 6-7 years ago whether a film like this would have come out.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's be honest. The Wachowski brothers tried to make V for Vendetta a referendum on the Iraq War and a referendum on Bush. And a part of the reason why it didn't work was because they tried to do that. And I know there are people who love the film. I hated it, but I'll probably have to go see it again to get my jaded, comic book fan.
I can't think of the name of the guy who also played Red Skull. I'm blanking on his name, but he's good in everything. Hugo Weaving, anything that Hugo Weaving is in is fine. I like listening to him. I like hearing him deliver lines. I think he's a good, solid actor. Other than that, the film was like, it was the action wasn't enough. I'm sure.
No, it is, and even though it was it's interesting because with V for Vendetta, and this is not a spoiler at all, Alan Moore, the writer, was trying to do a referendum on Thatcherian England and the misguided concerns he had, because he was like,
wait, are you saying that Alan Moore was trying to inject his politics into comic books? Alan Moore?
I know, shock,
That's
right?
Shocking.
The sarcasm is duly noted. The sarcasm is duly noted.
Actually, it's probably that's something I didn't think about. I mean, that's the second Alan Moore reference that we've had this show, and Alan Moore had Robert Redford as the president of the United States.
Yeah.
At the end of Watchmen.
Jay Brin makes a good comment in the chat room where he says, those movies are prophetic to the right and centrist, but I have a feeling that they're being used for the left as a satirical way to make it seem like it couldn't actually happen. Like it's the sort of thing that only happens in movies.
Yeah, and then when you hear stories about North Korean dictators feeding their uncles to dogs, and there are dogs in the Hunger Games at the end of the Hunger Games that the tributes are being thrown to. I don't know. You hear about people escaping North Korea, and the kind of insanity that they are escaping from. Let's talk about Ukraine. Let's talk about Russia closing in on people. Let's talk about Snowden. The United States. Let's talk about Snowden. They might.
At another time,
I'm highly skeptical how well they're able to.
At another time, Jay Brin, I think you would raise a point in that they're doing it as a way to say, oh, this couldn't happen here. But these days, I'm not. I don't think that that works.
No, I don't. I mean, just like everybody can point at George Bush and say that he was a warmongering president. People can do that. They are going to do that, and he will be remembered as that. Obama is going to be the guy who violated everyone's civil liberties. That's it. His epitaph has been written. It's there. He was the guy who was there when the NSA started up, or when it was discovered what the NSA was actually doing, and he did what? What did he do? What? How did he rectify that situation? What did the left do?
Yeah.
So I think that you can play that game, that the left can try and spin it that way, but good luck, because not with the way that it's portrayed. Yeah, it's just not. It doesn't seem likely to me.
Yeah, and let's remember, okay, this surveillance stuff, it started in Dark Knight. The question started in Dark Knight, which I thought was great.
The Dark Knight is about that's the top of the list when it comes to superhero films, in my opinion. I think it goes The Dark Knight, then The Avengers.
I don't consider those films...
Then Iron Man.
I don't consider those films 3 films. They're 1 film.
Okay. I could see that.
Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, they're 1 film. Now, all right, so let's do this, because we are running out of time.
Okay.
Go ahead and rate your Marvel films.
Are we talking about the current Marvel universe, or are we talking about the Fox films? Are we talking about?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So all the way. I think that I had better do it in like top 5.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Probably right now the Captain America Winter Soldier is at number 1, followed by Iron Man 1. Mm-hmm. At the 2 spot, then Avengers. I don't want to put Iron Man 3 there. I don't know. Thor was okay. Mm-hmm. And then I guess we'll leave the list with. I guess we have to leave the list with Captain America 1.
Okay. Here are mine. Avengers is 1 because it was the perfect team film. Everyone was like, we don't know how you're able to do it. We don't think you're going to be able to do it, and they did it. Avengers is 1. Winter Soldier is 2. Iron Man is a very close 3. So, I mean, these are like 1A, 1B, 1C. Okay?
Right.
They're all tied for first. But those are the first 3. I still love X-Men 2.
No. No.
I loved X-Men 2. And I'm gonna go with Spider-Man 2.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I even forgot the Tobey Maguire films existed.
After that third film, they want you to. But those would be. I loved X-Men 2. I thought it left so much potential for X-Men 3, and that film doesn't exist.
I lost my mind when I saw the Phoenix in the water. I was just flipping my lid when I saw that. I thought, oh, wow, we're going to get into the Phoenix saga. And then we did.
Then they did X-Men 3.
There was an X-Men 3.
There sadly was an X-Men 3.
Sadly, yes.
I still haven't seen First Class, though.
First Class I saw a little bit of. It was pretty good.
Days
good
of
characters.
Futures Past looks awesome.
I'm sorry?
Days of Futures Past.
I don't know that looks awesome. I'm skeptical. I am skeptical of that.
It looks awesome.
There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of moving parts. I'm very, very concerned that they're going to dumb it down. I'm concerned that they're going to hurt the overall plot to make it more palatable, and I don't know how they're going to fit it into a 2-hour-long movie. I'm not sure that is.
They could Spider-Man 3. See, this is the problem when you take big, overarching storylines. When you take big, overarching storylines. Case in point, Spider-Man 3 was trying to do the entire Venom saga in one film.
Okay,
doesn't work.
The problem there was that they cast Eddie Brock as the way that it's just really.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the punk kid from that '70s show.
Yeah.
The not even the famous one from that '70s show. That's who you're gonna get to be Eddie Brock.
He was hoping to be Ron Howard and it didn't quite work out that way. Jay, you know something? Actually, Jabrin in the chat room, you want to see a good superhero movie? Check out The Shadow. You know something? I enjoyed The Shadow. I enjoyed The Shadow.
Well, that's the end of the show, everyone.
This is my show. Shut up.
Taylor, I'm trying to save your life here. I'm trying to save your life. No, not The Shadow.
I hope they make a better one.
There you go. I agree with you there.
But a part of the reason why I make that comment, Lunatic Rex just said that I was weird. A part of the reason why I make that comment is that Penelope Ann Miller in that film.
That's not an adequate reason to like a film, Taylor.
You know something? I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. I enjoy it for what it was.
Yeah. Well, before they make a reboot of The Shadow, I hope that they continue that they come to their senses finally and make a second Punisher movie with Thomas Jane.
Oh gosh, yes, that'd be. I saw War Journal once, and I was like, "What in the heck is this?"
It was like that awful Spawn movie.
You know,
you remember that Spawn movie?
Yeah, I do remember. You know, Punisher is one of those films that I kind of forget they made. Okay, wait. No, I take it back. I have to go back to my... Hang on a second, because you just reminded me of several films that I forgot. I'm going to redo my ranking, okay?
Oh, God.
Going to redo my ranking. Avengers 1, Winter Soldier 2, Iron Man 1, 3... 4 is the first Blade film.
I will give you that. Yes.
4 is the first Blade film. And I still like X2. X2 is still 5.
Are you talking about X2 because Famke Janssen isn't it? Is that your entire reasoning?
Famke Janssen. Well, you know, I really enjoyed it. I honestly really enjoyed it. I really liked the first two X-Men films.
Okay. All right.
Jabrin, the Punisher movie is probably 7 on the list, and not because of Rebecca Romijn. It's a good film.
Yeah.
It is an underrated film.
Absolutely.
So,
and John Travolta getting like destroyed.
And John Travolta, you know something? Travolta had fun in that film.
He did he's not an actor that I really respect. I don't think that John Travolta is very good at much of anything when it comes to films, but he was pretty decent in that. He was a fun bad guy to watch, you know.
He had fun in that film. He really did. But yeah, but of course, when it comes to ranking, superhero films, I say superhero films because
yes,
there are superhero films and there are comic book films,
right?
And they are separate genres.
It's sad that means that Ghost Rider would rank above The Punisher because The Punisher isn't a superhero film.
No, The Punisher is a superhero film.
He's not a superhero, though. He's not a superhero. He's a guy with guns.
But it's still no. See, when I say comic book films, I mean 300. I mean Sin City. I mean
The Watchmen. Did anybody watch that?
What?
I honestly don't know.
I have the 4-hour version. That is pretty much almost page for page. The Watchmen film is truly underrated, I think.
Okay. Granted, I don't like the what was the term that you prefer?
The graphic novel?
No, I said the term that you prefer.
Oh, the trade paperback.
Trade paperback. Thank you. There we go.
Here's what's funny. The first time I read, the first time I read that story, I hated it. And then I reread it about, 7 years ago and got it. And was like, oh! I really enjoyed it.
You understand that you're reading something written by an insane man.
Yes. Yes.
Like, he is clinically insane.
Yes. No. I realize that 100%. Alan Moore is a freaky, deaky guy. But he is a talented writer.
That is an understatement. Yeah.
Well, he's an anarchist. I mean, to call him an anarchist isn't.
No, that's unfair to anarchists.
My apologies to Adam Kokesh.
Yes. Yeah. No, he's not an anarchist. He's a minarchist. He's a minarchist, voluntarist, something.
Okay.
Beard connoisseur.
That is all the time that we have for tonight. One of the reasons why I am ending the show is because my air conditioning is broken and it's 84 degrees here inside with no wind. That should say it all.
It was freezing 2 nights ago here, so my violin is playing for you.
But see, here's the problem though. It's stagnant air.
Okay.
It's stagnant air.
You have no windows?
I have windows, they're open, but the window in front of me is not open. Because I don't want the background noise.
The sacrifices. These are the sacrifices that your host, Taylor, iDesert Blog.
To be on the radio.
Yes, he has gone through
JD, where can we find you?
You can find me on freeradicalnetwork.com. You can find me on Twitter at NJ_libertarian. And find us on Facebook / Free Radical Network.
All right, and you can find me at EYE Desert Blog. That's at EYE Desert Blog. And yeah, I'm laughing at the fact that there's a picture going around the Twitters of Elvis Andrus from the baseball team in Arlington, looking like he's crying.
The baseball team, the baseball team in Arlington.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a Nolan guy, sir.
I understand.
Which means
get
that right now I'm on break.
Yes.
From
Understandable.
the baseball team in Arlington. Also, somebody asked on Twitter, is there any good news? My answer, the Dallas Stars are in the playoffs. The Dallas Stars are in the playoffs. And so
Congratulations.
I'm very happy. Thanks all for being here. Tomorrow, Truth Serum is going to be on. So, and that's going to be at, I'm going to look at the schedule to make sure that I get it right, or else the boss will call me up and yell at me. And we don't need the boss yelling at me, now do we? Truth Serum with Gerald Harrison is going to be on, at least scheduled to be on, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then don't forget that we have that would be me producing Becca, asking in the chat room. No, it's not at 5 p.m. Eastern. No, it is 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Anyway, moving on. And then tomorrow night, don't forget to listen to Next with Jonathan Sangster and Alan Bordius. So, and oh hey, the Dallas Mavericks are in the playoffs. So there we go. Fun times at the American Airlines Center.
And what draft pick are the Cowboys?
I don't care. I am a Cowboys fan, but they are mediocre.
I guess I really can't rib you on that too much.
Oh, because I'm an honest.
Because I'm a Jets fan.
Oh, okay. But of course, you have a picture of yourself and
Rex Ryan. Yes.
Rex Ryan. We'll talk with you guys next week, folks. Thanks all.
This show is copyright by VLR Media. All opinions of panelists and guests are their own and may not reflect the opinion of VLR Media, the host, or anyone else.